Okay, everybody. So it's been a while. It's been about 5 or 6 days since Intellivision posted their unboxing video, and I did an instant reaction video and talked to other people about it. And I've watched other people's videos on this, and today I want to kind of take a different take. Now that I've had time to digest it and I've listened to views from both sides, I kind of want to give an ultimate breakdown. I want to almost treat this as if Intellivision hired me as a consultant, and I'm going to tell them what they did well and also give them advice what they could do better or what doesn't look good. So for those people out there who think I'm just out to hate on this, who are just out, I'm out to see this get destroyed, I'm actually going to give them free advice. Now, I'm not a professional, but I've been in this whole gaming thing for quite a while and covered it for many, many years. So I think my advice does hold a little bit of credibility, at least for some people. So let's start out, first of all, with John Alvarado. I'd say he was a plus. He came across as warm and inviting, and it was a good change of pace of Tommy Tallarico. And naturally, he doesn't come with the baggage that Tommy did. So overall, I think John did a good job. Let's talk about something that I think shouldn't have happened, and that's this right here, including the physical media products in this video. If you're not going to demonstrate it being used, don't include it in the video. It's confusing. It doesn't make sense. They're just sitting there. I understand you want to advertise stuff. Also, I wouldn't have a system just sitting out. You're going to do an unboxing. I want to see the box and the system come out of the box. So this is just some nitpicky stuff that I'm going to recommend here and there. Really get in the nitty gritty. Okay, we have the box. Good. Looks nice for the most part. A couple quick nitpicks. In an unboxing video from a company. Now, remember, they're trying to compete on store shelves in stores like Walmart and GameStop with the PlayStations, Xboxes, and Switches. Even though they may not consider themselves direct competition, on the store shelf, they will be. And you're competing with them. You want to look like a multi-million-dollar company. If you want to look like a multi-million-dollar company, you want to have a shrink-wrapped box. Straight from the factory. You don't want to have something that looks like you bought a used system off of eBay, which is kind of what this video gives me the vibe. When I watch this unboxing, I feel like, hey, look, I bought an old system or a used system off of eBay. Let's open it up. It doesn't look like a new system. You want this thing to look sparkling new. You want to have the film over the controllers and over the system, and you want to see it packed exactly what a consumer would get when they buy it at a Walmart. And that's not exactly what we see here. Now, they're also using this sleeve right here, which he says is for the European market. This is going to create a little bit of confusion because the system itself and inside it looks like it's an American system with a European sleeve. Why don't you have an American sleeve? I almost get the impression that they only have one box and one sleeve, and that's it. Really, they should have paid the extra money if they're a multi-million-dollar company and had multiple boxes. They should have had a Founders Edition box. They should have had a VIP Edition box. They should have had general retail boxes for various regions, not just this one box. Why doesn't the box actually list the game names or talk about the games that are included? It says it has 6 games, but it really doesn't talk about it. And of course, this looks like it's called the video game console, not the Amico. Why isn't the name bigger? Like I'm saying, I'm just giving them advice. I'm really nitpicking to bring out the best possible I can. I want them to have high quality if they're going to do this thing. So let's continue. Okay, and of course, right here, here's another thing to point out. This is where they should have had information on the 6 games and tell them the names of the game and a little bit about them. Now, maybe it's different for the American sleeve. We don't know. We haven't seen it. But something about the way that some of the text comes across on the packaging, it almost reminds me of a cheap Chinese knockoff where some of the grammar isn't exactly right or some of the sentences are clumsy, like this. The best way to enjoy the best game. What? The best way to enjoy the best game. I guess they mean games? But that comes across as really clumsy. Altogether fun. I guess that makes sense, but again, to me, it's a little clumsy. Let's continue. Very small nitpick, but someone said they actually they put this UPC code into something and it came up as a US UPC code. And this is supposed to be a European box. This is just a mock-up. I'm not going to make a big deal to that. That's a very big nitpick. But again, if you're looking for quality, that's something you should look at. Okay, I want to bring this up real quickly because I'm going to get to this again. It says 2 controllers with color touchscreens, disc, and motion controls wireless charging. Remember that, disc and motion controls. Let's continue. Okay, here he has taken the sleeve off the box. It looks okay for the most part, but check that out. There is a bulge in the packaging. Is that a design flaw? Is there something going on? Why is there a bulge in that packaging? It doesn't look good. All right, remember what I said earlier? What to remember? Look at this, 2 controllers with color touchscreens, disc and controls, wireless charging. Guess what they missed? Motion controls, disc and controls. Doesn't make sense. Here we have 6 best-selling premium pack-in games for the entire family. This sentence to me is misleading. Why? And also, why is best all capitals? This looks like something a middle schooler or a high schooler would do when they're making a PowerPoint presentation. There's not uniformity. Again, no violence, bad language. Why is no capitalized so much? Connect up to 8 mobile devices or controllers at once. I remember in a previous video, they said you could only connect 4 controllers at once. I haven't heard clarification of that. Can you really connect 8 controllers? Because I thought with Bluetooth technology, that wasn't the case. Games for all skill levels to play together. That's a little bit clumsy. You know, I would have said something a little bit different, like games for all ages to play together, or, you know, all ages can play together and have fun or something. I would have really tried to simplify this. This is just simply too much, in my opinion. Okay, he opens up the box. Initially, it looks good, but I don't like the fact that these controllers are just sitting in a tray. Again, this is something where all the packaging and the retail packaging, the film, anything else that holds it into place, maybe it's in like one of those little styrofoam style bags, something should be seen. And we're not seeing that here. This looks like a used system. I don't like the controls just sitting in a tray. It tells me that they could rattle around during shipment all the way from the warehouse to the store to my house, that we could get dings or scratches on the side. Maybe that wouldn't happen, but it doesn't look good. This is all about optics. You want this to look professional. Shows a quick start guide. We will get to this guide and we will dissect it in a minute. And he removes the tray, which in of itself is good. Here's the lenticular poster. From what I understand, this is only supposed to come with the Founders Edition. What I understand, this is supposed to just be a regular Amico, and this poster will not be included with it. So if it's not going to be included with the average Amico, it shouldn't be in the box. This could again lead to confusion. If someone buys one from GameStop, they open it up and there's no poster, they'll be like, where's my poster? So if it's not included with the regular box, you shouldn't include it in the video. And okay, we have a clear dent in the box. Again, this gives you the vibe that someone bought a used system off of eBay, not a brand new, fresh from the factory system. Having this dent just doesn't look good. And again, it supports my theory that they really only have one box. Otherwise, they would have used one that was better, unless they have another box that's even more beat up. Don't put a box with a big dent in it. It just doesn't make you look good. Positive, you include a power supply and HDMI cable. You should highlight that a little bit because some things nowadays don't come with an HDMI cable or a power supply. You should highlight that. And what's with this empty space? I believe later on in a different interview, John said that that's for like the documentation, you know, the system manual or whatever, or maybe you could put some of the goodies that comes with the Founders Edition. But having this empty space just looks wasteful. And if I'm an investor, I don't want to see empty space because that means you made the box bigger than it should be. I want the box to be as compact as possible so you can put as many into a shipping container as possible, so you could fit as many on a store shelf as possible. So just having this empty space without explanation does not look good. Okay, now we take out the power supply. Ta-da! It's an American power supply. You said this is the European system. So if it's a European system, you should have the European power supply. Otherwise, say this is the American system, have the American sleeve. Again, you want consistency. We're looking for consistency. We're looking for quality. And you show the controllers with the straps already hooked in. You're trying to make this simple. You're trying to explain this to a mom of a 7-year-old who doesn't have a lot of experience putting together or hooking up a video game system. You should actually show yourself putting on the wrist straps to the controller, showing how simple it's supposed to be, not that they automatically come connected. It almost makes it look like magic. You take it out of the box and they're connected. This is a small thing. A lot of people understand this, but there's some people who wouldn't, and you want to try and get the attention of those people as well. All right. 2 nitpicks here. One, again, if this is a European system, you should have European outlets. You shouldn't have an American style outlet on it. Second of all, they misspelled Intellivision. That's right, they misspelled Intellivision right up here. That is a big boo-boo. You don't want to misspell your own name. It's possible that someone just printed this up on their computer. This wasn't professionally done, but this is something that you need to double check and take care of before you post a video like this. I actually do like that he's taking the viewer through how to hook up the system using the quick start guide. You put the controllers in. The only kind of thing that I'll say about this, yes, they charge up really quickly. The screen here looks really dim and fuzzy. I would recommend trying to find a different camera angle where it looks clear, because to me that looks like old technology. They now do a jump cut where they don't show the system booting up all the way. This is something that the hardcore gamers, the people are really paying attention. They want to see it boot up. So don't do that jump cut, because it's just one more thing for a critic to point out. They also have a controller connected that already has a name, Johnny. You want to show yourself hooking a system up from scratch for the first time so the consumer understands what they're getting into. This shows me that this was already done ahead of time. Okay, let's talk about this real quickly. The games that are preloaded on the system. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 rows of 4 plus 3 more. That makes for 15 games. One question. One of the games you advertised on the box was Skiing. Why isn't Skiing included in this setup? Is there something going on with Skiing? Is there a reason? Now, John in the video said they're shipping this over to Hans in Europe for a demonstration. Hans got it and said he was excited to show off the 15 games. So I'm assuming this game. So it really makes me wonder, is there a problem with Skiing as someone who's followed this system for a long time? It's missing. It's not here. Why is it not here? It may be that they just decided not to put it in, but to send the system to Europe, where Skiing is, I would argue, a bigger deal than here in the States, why is Skiing missing? It makes me wonder if there's problems with Skiing. Might be nothing, but again, when you don't have it there and you don't explain it, these kind of questions can pop up. I would also say that if you are loading the system up for the first time, you should only have the 6 pack-in games on it to show people what to expect when it comes out of the box. This has been addressed by a number of people, but the whole fact that this whole setting system is nothing but gears doesn't look well. And to their credit, John said that they are going to probably change that and give different pictures, because honestly, sometimes when the gear's spinning, it's hard to read the words. And if you want something simple, you should do it like most touchscreen devices or whatever, where you have different icons. Like for lights, you would put a light bulb. For help, you might put a question mark. For the system, you could show a picture of the system. For language, you could show a person speaking, that kind of thing. Doesn't take a lot of time, and it's something that you want to have it just simpler for just the average mom, again, who's not familiar with setting up a system. This to me looks more daunting. You give me pictures, it's not as daunting. All right, here's another little nitpick. You are trying to reach, you know, America is one of your biggest places where you're trying to reach, that you're trying to sell to consumers. And one of the biggest languages in America outside of English is, of course, Spanish. Where's Spanish? Yeah, it's down here hiding, but Spanish really should be given a more premier spot on this list. It should be definitely above, I would argue, French, the Italiano. It should be the second language. I understand the Italiano is because of Tommy Tallarico. That's why it's the second language. And that to me tells me or shows me or gives me the impression that this is more of a vanity project and you don't want this to be. Are you trying to please your inventor or are you trying to please the average consumer? You have a lot of Spanish speakers out there, both in America and in Europe, and it would do you well to put Spanish higher on the list. If you're going to do the vanity thing and keep Italiano second, I would argue that Spanish should be third. Also, when they did some of these translations and they switched from language to language, there's people who said that some of the translations weren't that good. They even said that it was basically like a Google Translate thing. So you definitely want to make sure that your translations are really solid. You have people all across the globe working on this. You need to make sure that the translations for the different regions come out sounding natural, not sounding forced or like a Google Translate kind of thing. Now he's going to go to the store and connect to the internet. We're going to have a few more kind of consistency issues that we're going to talk about right here. So let's go ahead. He says he needs to hook up to the internet. And when he hooks up to the internet, he looks for different networks. Okay. And this is a secure network. You should enter a password, but what happens is he just connects to it automatically. Why don't you show that the viewer putting in the password. Even if you're going to edit it and not show the whole password, but just show the password screen, that would make more sense. That's consistency. That's something you would want to have. Now we're going to the store. And again, we have an American, Canadian kind of setup here with the state province zip code instead of a European setup. If this is the European system, it should look differently. Again, they should have just had the American sleeve. And I argue that what they should have done is they should have had an American unboxing with John Alvarado in California, and then later a European unboxing with Hans over in Germany. I think they should have had two different unboxings, if you will. Okay, now he's going to buy Space Strikers, which costs $0. He explains that the store's not set up yet, but honestly, if you're going to do this, you should go ahead and you should have a price set in there so that people don't, who are just watching this and not paying attention, think that games are going to be free or something like that. This is, again, consistency. You want it to look exactly like it's going to look when someone buys something. And by the way, it didn't seem like there was any confirmation at all when it came to buying Space Strikers. As a parent, I'd be concerned that it's way too easy to buy a game. Here we are shown Cornhole. And one of the problems is we actually see a delay. So let me go back and let's look at the delay. There was a big delay there. Now, on a stream, John said that what happens is after you throw it, the system needs a moment to calculate all the calculations from your motion and translate it to the game. But it seems to be too much, especially when compared to the Wii. I don't remember the Wii having such an issue. I could be wrong, but that's my memory. If you have this delay, you probably don't want to show it. You probably want to do it at a different angle or edit it so you don't show this gap in from the moment you throw it to the moment it appears on screen. Obviously, John said that this, you could get used to this, that it's very natural, but it doesn't look good. And let's go back to the game itself. Okay, look at the trees in the background. Very flat. The picture, not a lot of texture going on here. Looks like very basic graphics, which is not a big deal. But someone over on the subreddit, Intellivision_Amico, noticed that it actually looks worse than in the past. So let me take you to that, and we will take a look at what it used to look like and what it looks like now. Okay, this is over at the Intellivision_Amico subreddit. So is it Paprium Fiasco posted this? So look at the 2020 picture. Look at all the texture, lots of leaves going on. You could definitely see a lot more details going on when it comes to the trees and the flowers and stuff, and compare it to this picture below. It looks a lot flatter. The background doesn't look as detailed here. It's obviously the same scene, but I would definitely prefer picture 1 over picture 2. No explanation why the graphical downgrade. There has been some people who have theorized that the systems that they showed earlier may have had more memory on them. I'm not saying that's what's going on, but it definitely looks bad when you show a picture 2 years ago and then 2 years later the graphics are downgraded. Just doesn't look good. Okay, this has been brought up many times by other viewers, other people on the interwebs, but look at this screen. It looks terrible. It's very dim and it looks scratched up. John Alvarado said that there was the plastic film still on this controller that they hadn't peeled off because he wanted to send it with the film attached over to Hans. But what it did was it really accentuated the scratches and it made the screen look worse. So John did say he wished that he would have done it, but I still want to point it out. I don't want to pretend like I am ignoring this. This is something that should have been addressed the first time. I will say that I like how they're using different people to show off these gameplay and that they're showing different games that we haven't seen before. I will say, again, this is a nitpick. If you're trying to show people and give them the impression that this is all done, this is what they're getting, you don't want to have the word debug version showing up in your little display here, your demonstration. But I do like to have a different group of people. However, I would argue that they should have done something that to address their core audience, their target audience. And that is moms with young kids, with kids, like they've said, around 7 years old or so. Why is there not a kid in this group? you really should want to have a kid included in on this gameplay session to kind of address that target audience you're trying to reach. If I was to watch this, I would say that my target audience is young adults, not parents with kids. And that's what the system is for, just based on this. Also, let's go back a little bit. This got a lot of scrutiny that there is a laptop on the floor showing the game and different wires. What's going on, according to them, and what I believe is true, is they're capturing the footage to put in this video so they could do jump cuts to show you it on the full screen, which is totally fine that they do that. You just don't want to have this mess seen in the video. You don't want to have the capture card seen in the video or give anyone the idea of, well, is this really the Amico or are they playing this off of a laptop? So that's just another thing. You need to clean up your background a little bit. I would even argue that some of the shots where they showed them where behind him there was like sodas and just background stuff that maybe you don't want to show off all that kind of, you know, background, all this kind of stuff in the background. It kind of looks a little bit messy. So maybe you don't want to do that as well. So there you go. I think that this was, compared to some of their previous stuff, it was positive, but I also think that this is a candidate that once you really do, if they're able to make it to retail, I'm very skeptical. I've looked at their finances, but if you're ever able to make it to retail, to actually get a system off of the line, that you should actually, you know, take down this video and redo it. And you should show a brand new system, all for one region, an American system, the American sleeve, American contents, what a regular retail system would take the poster out if it's not there. Show the manual. If you're going to do that, you should do that in the future. So that's just what I think. That's some of the positives, some of the negatives, kind of a breakdown, if you will, of everything after really meditating on this. Let me know if you think I missed anything in the comments below, any other positives or negatives, and I will see you next time on the next No Swear Gamer video.